You guys, we have got to talk about what is going around on the internet right now. There's so much that is being said. Since the release of Nia from Dance Mom's book, Kelly is now coming out to talk about her feelings, and that's really what sparked Holly to come and speak out. There's also some more things that are being said about what is in the book as well. We are going to get into everything. If you thought that the tea had already been spilled, you guys, it is just overflowing at this point. So in a recent video, we went over some of what Nia had shared in her book, Bottom of the Pyramid, which included her allegations that Abby Lee Miller tried to sabotage her music career and made racist remarks while she was on the show. The internet has been reacting and has just been so upset to hear about Nia's experience with Abby. But now we aren't just hearing from the internet, but some of the other dance moms, because they've got some things to say about this recent release. Christi and Kelly have sparked up some conversation, and it is messy, you guys. It actually seems to be the main reason why Nia's mom even spoke out on social media. So here's what's going on. Christi and Kelly have been getting some backlash because they have a podcast together, and in a recent episode, Kelly was specifically bringing up Nia's book. She is the mother of Brooke and Paige from Dance Moms, and she just felt a lot of frustration regarding the book and expressed disappointment that Nia discussed the other girls and their moms in the book without giving them a heads up. She specifically said that she felt it would have been respectful to get on a phone call beforehand, considering the book included stories involving other cast members. They're getting a lot of backlash because her book was coming out. She mentioned that Brooke and Paige were also not part of most of the situations being described and felt like they were unnecessarily lumped in with the drama of this release.
He said that about Nia's book.
What do you mean?
Like, she talks about all of us and our kids, and I don't know, I just feel like phone call would have been nice, and saying, you know, like, my daughter's gonna talk about everybody in the book. I don't know. Meanwhile, my kids weren't even there for 90% of it, that what she's talking about in the book. We're comped in on all that.
Now, this is really interesting for her to be venting about to Christi, because Christi had to have some knowledge that Nia was writing a book, because her daughter Chloe literally wrote the foreword in Nia's book. Nia had posted with Chloe this week saying, "When Bestie writes the foreword to your memoir." And in talking about this in an interview, she said, "Chloe wrote the foreword for the book," noted Nia, which is really, really, really special. But the 24-year-old isn't the only former Abby Lee Miller pupil giving Nia her flowers. I've had a couple other cast members say that they were proud and excited for me, shared Nia. We have a very special bond. So from what Nia is saying, she's heard from the other girls and they've been really happy and supportive of her releasing this book. And so it's very interesting that Kelly seems to be the only one vocalizing that she's upset and surprised by the book. Like I said, it's interesting that she's venting about this to Christi because they have a podcast together, and you would think that if Chloe was doing something even just small in regards to Nia's book, Christi would maybe mention that to Kelly in some capacity. I don't know why she was acting so surprised and upset, but she was, and she was venting, and then she was kind of coming at Holly, wondering why she didn't pull Nia from dance if things were so bad like she did with her girls eventually.
Say Jill and Holly, like, Holly was on there the longest of any mom, and now Nia writes a book about how she was treated. And I kind of feel like, okay, so why didn't you get her off of the show? Like, that was my whole thing. And they say on here, like, oh, me and you are trying to destroy the show. No, I was not. I could fucking care less how many episodes, shows. And like I said, I never posted a single thing about it. I just wanted my kids off.
This all seemed to spark a response from Holly that I talked about in my last video. She was coming at people who were trying to blame her for what happened to Nia because she didn't pull her from the studio. And Holly seemed to be directly speaking to Kelly at one point without naming names. But it just felt like that's who this was all really directed at.
Bottom of the Pyramid is her story. Do not invalidate her experience by trying to shift the blame on her mother. Shame on you. You should be embarrassed. That is such an ignorant low blow, and it's so inaccurate. This is about someone who did not do their job. No one was hired to be evil or cruel. So let's get something clear. I'm grown. I don't owe you anything. I don't owe anyone anything. And guess what? Nia's grown too. She doesn't have to ask anyone for permission to do anything. But what she wanted to do was share her story because so many people have had questions. So many people have been touched by her experiences, and she wanted to share because she knows other people can identify and relate, and she's not alone. But what we're not going to do is manipulate the truth and a narrative to fit your own agenda because you don't want to hold certain people accountable. That is something we're not going to do. So in case you forgot, I take my cues from my kids. I've been silent. I don't need dance moms. I don't need to talk about it. As you can see, I very rarely ever talk about it. This is Nia's story, but I have to come out every now and then just to remind, we're not going to take advantage and do my kid wrong. That we're not going to do, not without me saying something. So for those of you who have supported her, have bought the book, I thank you so much. Really, really appreciate that support. I see you, I hear you. Those stories mean a lot.
She directly called out those who she knows who are talking about the book when she knows they haven't read it.
And for those of you who want to regurgitate information that's taken out of context or listen to people who have not even read the book, because some of you who are talking, I know you haven't read the book because I know you. So instead of talking about my kid, instead of talking about a book you haven't read, why don't you support her? Support her for the 7 seasons that she gave on a show that changed pop culture phenomenon that we all love. And stop jumping to conclusions. But what we're not going to do is talk about my parenting because I have 3 fantastic kids. I know how to parent. I also know I know how to teach.
So clearly Holly wasn't happy with what was being said or what she was hearing possibly Kelly say, but it wasn't all Kelly wanted to talk about on this podcast with Christi, as they were also discussing how in one episode of Dance Moms, Maddie was talking about how when Chloe left the dance studio, she didn't text people back and how Chloe was being painted, which Christi was upset about as well. But Kelly was also upset mainly with how no one was reaching out to her girls when her girls left the dance studio, whereas Christi was mostly upset that Chloe was being painted out as someone who wasn't reaching back out to these dance moms that were still left at Abby's studio.
I tried texting and FaceTiming her, but they got no response.
This makes me so mad, Kelly.
Oh, well, this makes me so mad. Maddie says, oh, I miss Chloe so much, but I guess she hasn't thought to text back. Okay, here's my thing.
Yeah, huh?
Maddie and Chloe talked and, were fine. But Maddie and Paige were best of friends. And when me and Paige left and Brooke left, not one of those kids said, oh, I miss Paige, I miss Brooke, or whatever.
Well, Kelly, this is because, don't feel bad, she didn't really call her. She didn't really call her. And I wonder how much of this was being told to her by Abby, say you miss Chloe, because then it makes it seem like Chloe's mean for not answering.
Well, they did that to me, too. And the only reason I didn't answer was because I knew I was going to be on camera.
Now, on their podcast, they do recap Dance Moms, but people in the comments are just not happy with the way that they're talking about the girls, especially saying Maddie is a liar because she didn't really reach out to Chloe, but she was saying that Chloe never got back to her, at least according to Christi.
This makes me mad because I can't sit here and be like, this is not true. The fandom is going to come after me that I'm calling somebody a liar. But it's not true. I don't know what else to say. Either Chloe's lying or Maddie's lying. I only can talk about Chloe's side of things. Chloe never received a call from Maddie. Ever. So you would draw the conclusion there.
Mine never received a call from anybody, nor did I.
Okay, calm down. I called you.
Well, you're different.
But people are like, they are literally just talking about kids, and they could have just been told what to say on the show. People commented about how angry they were getting over not only a show from years ago, but over drama between children. People wrote, I need them to understand they were children who were traumatized and had to do what they were told by adults, or these girls didn't know what to do. They can't be mad at those children. If Maddie chooses to never talk to these 2 women again, I would understand. They live in the past and get angry at a literal child's actions. Maddie really lives in these ladies' heads rent-free. Why are grown adults talking about little children's actions from a million years ago? Move the hell on. In Nia's book, she talks about how Chloe became really distant after Dance Moms and later explained it's because she needed to heal and couldn't do that by continually talking to girls in that environment. I'm confused on why this is still a big debate. Whenever they talk about Maddie, I cringe. They've always been incredibly bitter and resentful towards her since she was like 8 and nothing has changed. It's actually crazy to think there's so much Dance Moms drama still unfolding today. It really truly is just so wild. Now, something that was also mentioned in the book though was that Nia did actually want to meet up with Abby following her Dance Mom's departure. Obviously, I talked about in my last video all the things that she said happened while she was at the Abby Lee Dance Company, but after she left, there was a part of her that wanted to see her again, just for some closure. Because I'm sure, as many of you guys know, if you've been keeping up with Dance Moms and things related to the show, Abby was diagnosed with Burkitt lymphoma in 2018, and Nia wanted to visit her in the hospital. The news of her having cancer just brought up complicated emotions for Nia. She'd moved on, but part of her still wanted to have that final conversation, but Abby shut it down. According to Nia, Abby declined the visit over text and said that she heard everything she needed from one of Nia's past Instagram lives. She even claimed credit for Nia's entire career, saying that she was responsible for every penny Nia earned and that Nia and Holly should be grateful that they weren't shopping in thrift stores. Abby also threw in a jab at Holly, calling her the kind of parent who thinks their child can do no wrong. Now, someone who did visit Abby though, and we've seen defend her through a lot, even though she gets backlash for it every single time, is JoJo Siwa, who Nia writes came in with a much different attitude than the rest of the girls. Nia opens up about how when JoJo came in and joined the cast, everything kind of shifted. She admitted that their relationship started off kind of rocky because JoJo came in with this huge personality and this almost ego and was telling the girls that they were washed up and that she was about to be like the light of the team. The group quickly picked up on the fact that JoJo's mom, Jess, seemed more focused on making JoJo a reality TV star than a competitive dancer, which kind of clashed with the original team culture. But it was very clear to them that JoJo and her mom, like, they wanted to be on TV. This is what they were signing up for, which obviously makes sense as to why JoJo, when she's talking about Abby these days, is talking about her so positively. She's like, she gave me my career. Everyone should be so grateful, because that's what JoJo signed up for. She signed up to be on this TV show that she had watched. She already knew what it was going to be like. They knew what they were signing up for. Whereas these original girls, this is the part that JoJo seems to not be able to understand why they are so upset. They joined Abby's dance company when she was loving and nice and sweet, and then they got a show and then she changed. And that is the issue. That is why they were so upset, because all of these things happened and that wasn't what they signed up for. They did not sign up to be reality TV stars. They didn't know what it was going to be like. And I think that's the part that JoJo doesn't really understand whenever she's talking about Dance Moms and the other girls. But that is what has been said about Dance Moms as of recent, the whole drama with Kelly talking about Nia's book and everything else. I certainly want to know what you guys think about everything. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye, guys.